Hi, my name is Josie and welcome back to my writing channel. Once again, we are not writing at home. We are not writing where I write consistently, where everything goes well. We are once again going on a trip and making the writing harder for myself. But this trip is necessary. We're actually on the first night of a 4-day bike trip doing like the Sunshine Coast and Vancouver Island in British Columbia. And we're doing this because we're testing out a lot of our gear. I mean, we're also doing it because it's beautiful and who doesn't want to be here? But we're testing out a lot of our gear because next week I'm going off with my boyfriend Jonah on a really long biking trip. And we just want to make sure that everything is running smoothly. We know exactly what we want to pack. So this is a test run to see how things are going to go. So in the same vein, I really want to try writing on my longer bike trip. And so we're going to try really hard to make this tablet thing work. So when I'm on these trips, I'm writing on this guy that has a attachable keyboard. I don't know if you can see that keyboard, and then my tablet. And I've had some trouble with the connections, but we're going to make it work. But we've already finished the first day of the trip, so I feel like I should catch you up a little bit on what's going on. So we took the ferry over from West Vancouver at about 2 p.m. today, and we meant to bike to the ferry as well, but because everything was so up in the air, I literally picked up my bike from the shop this morning. We did not have enough time to bike there, so instead we got on the ferry, had a good time. I started writing down all the things I'd already thought of that I didn't have that I needed to have. And then the ferry ride was not very long. I think it's like 40 minutes or an hour. And then once we got to Langdale, the adventure really began, because for this bigger bike trip, I'm doing something I've never done before, and I've gotten shoes that can clip into my pedals. And that has been pretty nerve-wracking. I haven't actually used it until this trip started. I mean, I just tried really quickly at home just to be like, yep, the shoe clicks in. Yep, I can get it out on a stationary bike I'm not really riding. And very quickly I realized it takes skill to to clip into your shoes. And all of the compilation videos I'd seen beforehand when I was like looking up these kind of shoes, like of people just like falling over because they can't get their feet out, that's a real feeling. But we loosened the pedals, like where it clips in, so there was a couple times where I did start to teeter and I would have literally just fallen on my side, but we had them loose enough that I was able to pull out my foot. But there was this big uphill that we'd paused right before, kind of like just before going up. And so trying to get my feet in while also having to gear down really quickly, I couldn't do it. I tried, and there was a guy who was walking by who was like, "Do you want to push?" And I was like, "Nope, that's not gonna help. Everything is tough right now." So hopefully over the next couple of days, I can get a lot better at that and a lot more confident. I mean, already I was feeling better kind of by the end of today, but still, anytime I have to stop quickly, I immediately panic, which then makes it hard to actually get my feet out, but it's all part of the learning process. The other thing I did forget to do before this trip is that I wanted to have transferred the writing I've done on my computer to my tablet, because I had started to draft some chapters, but now I don't have access to them. Especially there's one chapter that's like pretty roughly done, basically just like dialogue, and I really want to work on that, but that's not possible. I'm not going to try and recreate it. We're just going to go to a different chapter, and maybe treat it as like a little bit of a vignette, and just go for it. And I don't have a lot of expectations with the writing other than just trying to enjoy myself, trying to make it work with this tablet, whether I have to find a picnic table to write on, whether I will literally just type it out with my finger, I don't care, you know? Or maybe I can try dictation. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna sit there and just type it out, because the first thing I want to do for this chapter is create an outline for it, because I felt like oh, by the way, if you don't know, I am attempting to write a epic fantasy book that's 3 points of view. It's kind of more of like your classic medieval-y, concept. I have a rough idea of what needs to happen in the chapter I want to write, but when I was writing that first chapter, like, what was it, like a week ago, I just found myself kind of like hitting walls, like hitting dead ends and having to rework stuff. So I think by creating an outline for myself for the chapter that's up ahead for me, that's really gonna help kind of see the full vision rather than just write blindly and hope I get to where I want to be. So yeah, the next few days will be a fun ride, literally and figuratively. We have unfortunately had a pretty big setback. So we were doing this trip, me, my boyfriend, and my dad, and my dad decided to turn around today because he was really feeling fatigue from other stuff. And so Jonah and I continued, and we grabbed my dad's like tool, pump, everything like that, because we were really only wanting to bring one set of everything, and because we just moved, I didn't know where my bike pump was, so I was like, okay, fine, we'll just use his. And Jonah's bike had a little bit of a soft tire, so we decided to pull off the road just a little bit, and we went to try and pump up his tire. It wasn't flat, it was just soft, but we couldn't get the pump to connect to the valve. And I think it's because it's not the right connection. So with like bike tires, there's the Schrader and the Presta valves. Prestas are like a lot narrower, and those are more on road bikes, I think. And then for mountain bikes, they usually have the Schrader, which is like wider. So because I think it's supposed to be for a Schrader bike, which doesn't make sense because I know that my dad has the same tires as me, and those are Presta. But we just can't get it to connect at all. But we messed around with Jonah's bike too much, so now he's got a flat tire. Like there's just no air in it, and we can't pump it up. And the closest bike shop is where we started this morning, and we've been biking for like an hour and a half now. So Jonah decided, instead of like trying to maybe one of us bike back there and back, which would be 3 hours, there is like a marina nearby that he's decided to go bike to with my bike, because I'm just like, I can't deal with it. I don't think we're gonna find it. But so yeah, so we're kind of just stuck a quarter of the way along this road where we're gonna catch another ferry, and we can't, like Jonah cannot bike on this bike with the tire that flat. So I don't know what the plan is. I'm feeling really discouraged because this is supposed to be a test trip, and it just feels like everything's going wrong. But yeah, I don't know. I now have to wait half an hour for Jonah to go to this marine shop and back. So yeah, maybe I'll try and do some writing. We'll see. I was able to do a little bit of brainstorming yesterday, and I think I've got a good idea for the chapter. And where it's going. I haven't decided quite yet because there's kind of like a battle against a specific creature, and I don't think I've quite decided what that creature should be. I have some ideas, but I don't know yeah, so we'll see. I'm gonna start writing, and the beginning of the chapter should be pretty easy, straightforward. I'll have to make a decision at some point, but for now I figure open up the scene, start a little bit of dialogue, and see where things go. You can probably see from my smile that we were successful. We were able to pump it up, but the marine store didn't have anything actually. They didn't have the adapter we wanted, but I kept saying, no, there's gotta be a way, there's gotta be a way. And basically what I did was I unscrewed this little silver guy and flipped a bunch of the stuff that was in here. And we didn't get a great seal. Like, I don't know if maybe we didn't do it quite right, but we were able to, with both of us holding it, get his tire filled. So we are, I think, just going to continue on our way. We're not going to be able to make the ferry we originally wanted to, so we'll probably be able to be a bit more chill, take maybe a lunch break in a little bit, and we are on our way. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. Oh, that one's over there though. Oh no, I'm splitting the gap. Hello, deer and little baby deer and deer over there. Hello, I have not really updated you much today, but honestly, after we figured out that pump, today's been pretty amazing. It was super sunny, the riding was great even though there was a lot of hills. We caught the later ferry, and the riding on the other side of the ferry was even better because it's not really like a big community on the other side. So after the first wave of cars went by, it was like no cars, really, really nice biking. And I also got a decent amount of riding done on the ferry as well as waiting for the ferry, and it felt fantastic. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. And then tonight, it's pretty late, it's 9 p.m. already. I feel like time is flown by, but we got here, we wanted snacks at the grocery store, and then we had to find a campground. This is the only campground in Powell River, and it's private, so the person had to actually come, the attendant, because we were past their hours, so we were late, so they had to come and let us in. And then we went in town, got Thai food, which was great, and then we're gonna probably go to bed early. I just finished a coin shower, Jonah's wrapping up. But we have a early ferry to catch tomorrow, so we will discuss then how this writing's going, because honestly, I'm so happy. I might even try and get some more writing done tonight. It's been awesome. We are just starting our biking for the day. We got the ferry across, and I think we're feeling it in our bodies. Yesterday was a bit of a tough day. I think we did like 84 kilometers total, and it was just non-stop hill after hill. Not that I'm complaining, it was still beautiful. But the writing has been going so good. I even wrote on the ferry here, not the whole time because I got distracted by some whales. But yeah, it's going really well. Like, I feel like this is the first time where I felt like in like the flow while using the tablet, which is a really good sign. I'm feeling really excited about the scene I'm writing. It just seems to be going really well. I am a little stuck right now, as I always am eventually, mostly because of how I want this like battle to play out and less about the specifics. Like, I kind of know the start and the end and like kind of the things along the way, but I'm hoping as I bike I can start to ruminate on it, because I think while I'm like biking or doing physical activity, I can kind of come up with solutions to stuff, but not big problems, kind of like specific problems. Like, once I know the exact thing I need to be figuring out, it just becomes a lot easier rather than thinking about like a whole chapter or whatever. I don't know why it's clicking so well. I don't know if it's because like this scene is really fun. And something that I've been wanting to do too is I really want to make sure that every chapter is fun. Like, I don't, like, if something's not fun for me to write, I'm sure it's not going to be fun for someone else to read. But this is coming out really well. I'm super excited. I've been forcing Jonah to read the little passages as I write them, which is like not a thing I've done in the past. Usually I don't let people read any of like my first draft stuff, like even the second draft. Like, people don't really read it till like third draft and it's like pretty cleaned up. But I think I'm just so excited, and Jonah's also been helping me a lot with like the brainstorming. Like, I'll run certain things by him and be like, what do you think about like if this were linked to this and this were like whatever. And then he has a lot of great ideas because as well, like, he knows a lot about like history stuff, and so there's going to be a lot of like court maneuverings and potentially like, you know, uprisings and whatnot. So he's been really good to bounce ideas off of how I'm going to ramp up certain things. So anyways, beautiful day, can't wait to get some biking. Don't know if we'll get to where we want to go because it's a lot of biking, but we'll try our best. What have we found, Jonah? Blackberries, so many blackberries. You can see them all. They're all so huge. So we're gonna take some time, eat some blackberries with our first stopping point for the day. It's so beautiful. If you need inspiration for a backcountry lunch, this is honestly so good. It's a tortilla with a sausage, just one of these pepperoni sticks, some cheddar cheese, and some Cheetos. These Cheetos, the crunchy ones. It's so good. It might also be because I'm really hungry, but this is delicious. We are 70 kilometers into our day. We have another 20, but it's only 2:30, so the plan is to spend an hour or so here. It's like this grassy park, the ocean's right there, and just relax, because we also want to time it where we can have dinner just before we reach our camp, because we'll probably go to like a restaurant or something, so we don't want to go too early. This will give me a little bit of time to set up my tablet to do some more writing, which is exciting, but unfortunately I haven't thought of a good way to orchestrate that battle, that fight, and I was really hoping to come up with something, but I was just really stuck. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is just go for it. I'm going to force myself to start writing, see what happens. Even if it doesn't turn out to be that great, like, I think I just need to do a first attempt, and yeah, see what will come of it. So that's the plan, and I'm just trying to like not take this too seriously, because I think now, because I've written like the thrillers and the mystery novels in the past, and they feel less daunting to me because I read a ton of different genres. Like, I read mystery thriller, I read romance, I read fantasy, I read sci-fi, but epic fantasy in particular has like the biggest part of my heart. Like, I love those stories so much. So I feel like I've put all this pressure on myself that I have to somehow be at that level in the first draft, no less, of these books that I love, and that's just like not possible. And I feel like instead of trying to compare to the books that I love that are out there, I just need to write the best book that I can and stop worrying so much about what I'm doing. So we're just gonna lean into the fun of it, try to design a kick-ass fight sequence. We are about to keep biking, but before I do, I just wanted to announce that I figured out on my tablet how to find word count, and we are at 2,300 words so far for this trip, which is a lot more than I was expecting, to be honest. Like, I've really been taking my time as I'm writing, so now I have it in my head that it would be really great to try and hit 3,000 words before the end of this trip. So that's only 700 more, so that's not too bad, because I'll have a decent amount of time tonight, and there's also a ferry ride tomorrow, so stay tuned. I had such high expectations that I was gonna get some more writing done when we got here, and we got here I think around 6, but I am so tired. We set up our stuff, we took a shower, and it's just taken all my energy to just come and enjoy the sunset. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna force myself to write. We'll have a lot of time on the ferry tomorrow. But what's been really fun is there's so many bunnies here. I've tried to pet one, but it never works. They just run away. So I think I'm just gonna enjoy the sunset and pick it all up again tomorrow. That's the ready stance we still. You're not amusing him. Oh, he's looking at me. Jonah, he's looking at me. He's looking deep into my eyes. So I've made it back home. Today was a bit challenging because we only had 30 kilometers to get to the final ferry to get us across the water. And halfway through that, and to mention, other days we've been able to be on smaller roads, but today we had to go on like the big 2-lane each way highway. So that was a little bit tough with all the cars going by at all times. But with maybe like 15 kilometers to go to the ferry, Jonah's back tire lost all air. So we pulled over and we had two choices. We could either like sit there and figure out how to take the tire off, replace the tubing, figure out why it had lost air. Because if there was something in the tire that was like sticking into the tube and that's what caused the tube to get popped or whatever, then switching out the tube is only gonna make the next tube become faulty the same way. But I really wanted to make this ferry, so we instead decided that we were just going to pump it because it was losing air slowly. So we are going to pump his tire, and then as soon as it got low again, we'd stop, pump it, keep going. So every 2 or 3 kilometers we ended up stopping and pumping up his back tire again. But we made it. We made it to the fair. We got on time, but I was a little bit like frantic, hectic. So when I finally got on the ferry, I just like, it was hard to get into the zone of writing, especially because with the flat, I didn't want to have to bike back to my parents' house from the ferry, because there's no way that would have been like another, 2 hours of biking to even get here. So I had to try and contact my dad to pick us up, but both of our phones had died because I did not pack a charger. So that's another thing, is I didn't think about the battery bank. I'm gonna have one with me in Europe, but I hadn't thought to like plug it in beforehand and charge it up. So when we were packing that first morning, I was like, I'm not gonna bring it. It didn't occur to me that on all these ferries I could have brought a charger. So anyways, more learning curves. But then what we ended up doing was I had the tablet, but there's no longer Wi-Fi on the ferries. There used to be, so I had to ask a stranger for their hotspot to be able to use my tablet. I was going to send a message over Facebook, but then when I logged in on my tablet, it was like, you need to confirm that this is you from Facebook on another one of your devices, which I couldn't do, so I sent an email. But thankfully, my dad saw it, so he was able to come pick us up. I just felt really distracted. I really didn't want to write, but I persevered because we needed those 700 more words to get to 3,000. But when I logged into Word, because I connected to the internet, it had wanted me to re-sign in to Word because you have to have an account. And because I then didn't have access, and I didn't have access to be able to do that, so I had to write in my notes app instead on the tablet, which didn't tell me word count. So I knew I needed 700 words. I didn't know how many that was, so I just wrote, thought I got around 700, and then I was like, I'm tired, I don't want to do this anymore. So now is the moment of truth. Did I hit 3,000 words? So I have copy pasted over the stuff now that I've been able to log into Word and re-sign in with my home Wi-Fi. And so we can see, drum roll please, I'm gonna go to review, word count. Oh no, we are at 2,945 words, so I'm 55 words short. Darn it, that's okay. I'm just gonna have to write them later today or something, but we got super close to 3,000, which is great for this bike trip. But otherwise, I'm feeling really good. The writing is easy when I can write on like a flat surface, like the connection. I haven't had too many trouble when I'm like on tables though. Today, I ended up not writing at a table on the ferry. That's part of the reason why I was just like not into it. So I tried to use my lap because there was like the comfy chairs, but it just wasn't working. So I ended up sitting on the floor with my tablet on the seat. But I think if I'm in just like a better location with a table, I'm not gonna have any issues writing on the tablet. And the bikes are doing good. We're happy with the bikes. We're happy with how everything worked. I mean, except for the flat, that's something we're gonna have to figure out hopefully the next couple of days. But everything else works. We're happy with most of our setup. There's a few things I'd want to add, a few things I'd probably want to take away that I'm like, this didn't really work. Like for example, I brought tights, but we've been able to get showers almost every day, but the towel's not super great, so my legs are damp, so it's hard to pull tights on. So that's an example of like, it'd be better to just wear loose pants instead of leggings. But mostly things went really well. The clip pedals, I'm finally getting used to it. It's feeling really good. I haven't fallen one at all, but Jonah has fallen a couple times, but we're getting a lot better. I'm feeling more confident as I'm stopping that I can get it off. Like it's not a struggle every time. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, and see you in the next one.